With 5, yes, 5. New Apple handsets perhaps on the horizon, 2025 is looking to be a nightmare for iPhone aficionados. Before the iPhone 17 series, most likely consisting the iPhone 17, iPhone 17 Pro, iPhone 17 Pro Max, and the all-new iPhone 17 Air. Enter stores in September, or so we firmly assume. The budget-friendly iPhone SE 4 appears ready to arrive first, maybe as soon as March. 4 of those 5 potential gadgets will be revisions to current model lines. Rumors, however, suggest that the iPhone 17 Air will be the slimmest iPhone Apple has ever produced and a de facto competitor of the Samsung S25 Edge, therefore breaking new ground for Apple. What therefore should our expectations be regarding hardware? 5 of the most notable alleged Apple 17 Air features have been compiled below. First of all, the iPhone 17 Air will be shockingly slim. But precisely how thin, I wonder? According to frequent Apple insider Ming-Chi Kuo, the iPhone 17 Air will measure just 5.5 millimeters at its thinnest point. For comparison, the iPhone 16, and indeed the iPhone 16 Plus, which the iPhone 17 Air will supposedly be replacing in this year's lineup, measures 7.8 millimeters at its thinnest point, so Apple's upcoming model might be over 30% slimmer. To date, the thinnest iPhone ever built is the iPhone 6, which measures 6.9 millimeters front to back. So, an iPhone 17 Air measuring just 5.5 millimeters would capture that title. Incidentally, reports imply Samsung's Galaxy S25 Edge handset measures 6.4 millimeters at its thinnest point, so if both claims are correct, the iPhone 17 Air will be almost 1 millimeter thinner than its most obvious opponent. If the iPhone 17 Air does actually wind up being as thin as reports claim, Apple will have to rethink its approach to the phone's camera module. Most tipsters have it that the Air will launch with a single 48 megapixels back camera, albeit there's still debate about how this single camera will be positioned. Leaker Majin Buu, for instance, expects that the phone will come with a Google Pixel-style extended camera module that runs across the entirety of its rear panel. However, there are reasons to dispute this claim. For starters, Apple has never adopted such a camera design on any of its 46 previous iPhone models. Doing so would consequently signal a major change for a corporation famed for its design constancy. Secondly, a panel-spanning camera module on a super-thin phone would certainly intrude on its front-facing Face ID components, potentially compelling Apple to eliminate that function. It's quite unlikely that Apple will sell the iPhone 17 Air without Face ID features, so we're inclined to think that it'll leave the rear panel of the future phone pretty clear. As such, the iPhone 17 Air will probably arrive with a rear camera module that looks a lot like the module on the iPhone SE 2022, a single round lens positioned in the corner of the phone's rear panel. Apple could possibly install a single lens version of the iPhone X's pill-shaped camera module, but we suspect it'll keep things simple. Seeing as the iPhone 17 Air will, without question, enable Apple Intelligence, it will need to be equipped with an A17 Pro chipset or later. The iPhone 16 comes with an A18 processor, while the iPhone 16 Pro comes with an A18 Pro chipset. Therefore, it follows that the iPhone 16 Air will get either the A18 Pro or the destined for the iPhone 17 A19. There is, of course, a potential that Apple may equip the iPhone 17 Air with its next top-of-the-line processor, likely the A19 Pro, but being how the phone is slated to act as a replacement for the iPhone 17 Plus, we think a standard-level chipset is the more likely option. Indeed, most tipsters believe that the iPhone 17 Air will get an A19 CPU, and an 8 GB RAM capacity has been mentioned too. That's the same as the complete iPhone 16 series. One potentially disappointing characteristic of the iPhone 17 Air could be its battery life. According to leaker Digital Chat Station, both Apple's thin phone and the Samsung Galaxy S25 Edge will have batteries between 3,000 mAh and 4,000 mAh in capacity. That's not immediately worrying. The long-lasting iPhone 16 and Galaxy S24, for instance, have 3,500 mAh and 4,000 mAh batteries, respectively. But the iPhone 17 Air will, as discussed, be a considerably slimmer gadget than the candy bar flagships we've been accustomed to seeing in recent years. Therefore, heat dissipation will be considerably trickier, perhaps resulting to reduced battery life. The efficiency credentials of Apple's A19 processor will certainly be excellent enough to minimize any drastic dissipation issues. However, it's safe to expect the iPhone 17 Air will have lower battery life than the rest of the iPhone 17 line, and maybe even the iPhone 16 line before it. In the US, iPhones have arrived without SIM card trays since the iPhone 14 was released in September 2022, although models sold in the UK and Australia have continued to retain a physical card slot, owing to the limited use of eSIMs in these locations. That could change with the iPhone 17 Air, as it could simply be too small to contain a SIM card tray, period. This won't be a problem, as eSIMs are now accessible in most regions around the world, including the UK and Australia. But it's notable that the iPhone 17 Air, and maybe even the entire iPhone 17 range, might do away with SIM card trays for good. Next, the iPhone 16 Pro is clearly a good smartphone. It refines the iPhone 15 series with incremental upgrades, better cameras, a slightly larger screen, and longer battery life, resulting in a superior overall experience. However, these enhancements feel more like gradual changes than breakthrough advancements. With the iPhone 17 Pro, Apple needs to upgrade both its functionality and appearance to make a genuinely appealing statement. Here's what I hope to see in Apple's next flagship, and how it can improve upon the iPhone 15 Pro versions. The iPhone 17 Pro needs a design overhaul. While the iPhone 16 Pro feels luxurious with its titanium body, it's starting to appear too familiar, almost indistinguishable from the iPhone 15 Pro. Apple has persisted with the same rear design since the iPhone 12 Pro, and it's time for a change. The iPhone 17 Pro should provide something unique, something that stands out in a congested market. Additionally, Apple should introduce colorful color options for the Pro series. Currently, Pro users are limited to somber tones, while the ordinary iPhone models get exciting tints like yellow, red, and blue. It's time for Pro users to express themselves through color as well. While the iPhone 16 Pro has incorporated a camera control button, its location feels a bit wrong. On the iPhone 16 Pro Max, the button feels too low, making it slightly uncomfortable to use. Moving the button just a centimeter higher on the iPhone 17 Pro would increase comfort and usability, decreasing camera shake while pushing the button. Apple's iPhone cameras have always been trustworthy, but other flagships like the Vivo X200 Pro are pushing the frontiers of smartphone photography, giving exceptional shot quality. While Apple leads in video quality, there's space for improvement when it comes to static photographs. The iPhone 17 Pro should provide major advancements to the photographic experience. Content creators adore the video capabilities like ProRes log, but for the majority of customers who value photographs, Apple should focus on creating a genuinely class-leading photography experience. While the iPhone 16 Pro features exceptional battery life, the charging experience is still trailing behind its competition. Unlike flagships like OnePlus and iQOO, which provide quick charging speeds, the iPhone's charging remains excruciatingly slow. Apple doesn't need to go overboard with 100-watt charging, but having something in the range of 50-watt or 65-watt fast charging would make a big difference. This would allow a complete charge in roughly 45 to 50 minutes, saving critical time for customers on the go. Here's where the iPhone 17 Pro Max might have a hard time improving on the bar established by the iPhone 16 Pro Max, as the current model posted the greatest time of any iPhone we've ever put through our proprietary battery test. In that test, we have phones surf the web continually over cellular until they run out of juice. The typical phone can hang out for a little more than 10 hours on that test, while the iPhone 16 Pro Max averaged 17 hours and 35 minutes. The A18 Pro chipset helps the iPhone 16 Pro Max land on the top phone battery life list, but the current model also profited from a larger battery than its predecessor. There aren't any reports yet about what kind of battery the iPhone 17 Pro Max would utilize, a part of a suggestion that Apple could use a new glue to hold batteries in place, making them easier to change in the new versions. One change we hope to see with the iPhone 17 Pro Max is an improvement to charging speeds. The iPhone 16 Pro Max continues to support 30W cable charging, although other phones have embraced far quicker speeds. The iPhone 17 Pro has the potential to be a remarkable device. With a fresh look, camera enhancements, and faster charging, it might solidify Apple's position as the top choice for both photographers and regular consumers. It's time for Apple to push the envelope and offer an iPhone that truly distinguishes apart from its predecessors. So that's all we know for now. We'll be sure to keep you updated as soon as we have more information. Thanks for watching.